So that's how it's gonna go, right? So we're gonna play this game. You wanna play a game with me? Yeah. You wanna play a game?
I know how the game starts.
Okay, you already know?
I already know how the game
Okay, well, I like that. Hold on, right now, hold on. Look, so tell me what you think the game is. What you think the game is?
Already, when I was here already, I already seen this. But the rest, I don't know this, but I need
we finna find out right now. Where your phone? Get your phone. Get your phone. You record it, I'm gonna record it. We both gonna record it. I wanna see it from your perspective, and we finna see it from mine. I love keep you on your toes. For me, you know what I'm saying?
Look, why is that scared?
That dope kind of gave it away a little bit.
Not really, because it could have been an envelope or something.
You know?
I was like...
You trying to see what it is?
Okay.
For me. It's all good. Glove box.
Oh, glove box. Slow.
That's all right. You excited? I'm excited too. What you talking about? Lights come. I'ma come get
Thank you, baby.
We addressing it all, honey. These, everything. The Lulu, honey, to the Mama Renee, to the best friend, to the live streams. Honey, we talking about everything today.
This is Tyrone Davis Jr., known to everybody as Dro. He was a 55-year-old truck driver, a real one, a father who showed up every single day. He took his girlfriend on a Christmas vacation and never came home. And the story she told the police about what happened to him, she changed it 3 times.
He just was on a different path, and that's what's so crazy. Like, how could you leave him in the road knowing how he felt about you?
That is the voice of the man who is probably closest to Tyrone, a friend who goes by Looney, speaking on a YouTube live just weeks after Tyrone passed away. And that question he asked, how could you leave him in the road, is the question that has pushed this case into the streets and onto every platform where people are still fighting for answers. Before we get into what happened under that bridge in Gainesville, Florida, you need to really understand who Tyrone Davis Jr. was, because the people who want this story to go away are counting on you not caring enough to keep watching.
Morning motivation with Joe, so this is what it is. There's so much bait and snake shit be going on right up under your nose, you feel what I'm saying? To the point where you could be showing love, you could be motivating people, you feel what I'm saying? And you could be getting motivation from others too, you feel what I'm saying? And you salute people and you root for people. But as soon as a situation come about to a motherfucker can like do some Al Green ass shit, trust me, they gonna do it. Trust me, they gonna do it. Why? Cause number one, they don't even really like you. You feel what I'm saying? They just been putting on the facade. They been just like really like putting on the front, trying to make like they fuck with you. Cause they really look at you as competition. Whole time you looking at them as motivation. But everybody's heart don't be clean. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody's heart don't be genuine. Everybody's heart don't be pure. So you moving with, you know, pure intentions. But the motherfucker that you think, you know, fucking with the movement and fucking with what you got going on, heart ain't pure, and they gonna do some snake shit, bro. And how you respond, gonna either set you back 10 steps, or it's gonna put you ahead of the game 10 steps, because now you're aware of the snake, you feel what I'm saying? All snakes gonna get dealt with, you feel what I'm saying? Accordingly. But at the same time, don't set yourself back 10 steps, bro, by responding to that shit or reacting off that, reacting out emotional, reacting off that, you know, disrespect or whatever it is you feel it as.
Tyrone, who went by Dro, T2, or Stepdaddy Dro online, was the type of man who woke up every single morning and posted something to motivate the people following him, tagging it every time with the hashtag Morning Motivation with Dro. He drove trucks for a living, he was present for his children, and by every account from the people who actually knew him, he had made a decision to turn his life around and be better. His best friend described him on a live stream as a man who had stopped running the streets and had started building something real for himself and his kids. Around late December 2025, Tyrone and his girlfriend, a woman known publicly as Lulu and also called Kiara, planned a romantic Christmas vacation to a cabin in Florida. From what people could see, things looked good in the beginning. They were recording videos together, posting, and spending time. But somewhere during that trip, something went very wrong between them. An argument broke out, bad enough that they packed up and left the cabin early, then checked into a hotel nearby before stopping at a Papa John's restaurant on Southwest Archer Road to pick up pizza and wings before getting back on the road. What happened inside that car after they picked up that food is the center of this entire story. Around 5:49 in the evening on December 27, 2025, Gainesville police got a report of a person seriously hurt near the Interstate 75 overpass on Southwest Archer Road. When first responders got there, they found Tyrone Davis Jr. on the ground about 15 feet from the road. He had severe damage to the back of his head and a cracked skull. He was not awake and had no ID on him, so he was taken to the hospital and listed as a John Doe, meaning nobody even knew his name yet. And Lulu was not there with him when they found him. A nurse named Brandy and her husband happened to be driving past and stopped to try to help. They found Tyrone confused and badly hurt, with pizza scattered all over the road, unopened wings sitting by his feet, and a wallet with $15 cash laid out next to him, almost like someone had placed it there to show he had not been robbed. 3 cell phones were lying nearby, too. Brandy's husband held Tyrone's neck still while she checked him over, and at that point he still had a pulse, he was still breathing, and his eyes were still responding to light. They called 911 and waited with him. Lulu showed up about 2 minutes before the ambulance got there. And here is the part that never sat right with that couple or with anyone else who has heard this story since. Brandy said Lulu showed no real concern, that instead of asking how Tyrone was doing, she was focused on repeating her version of what happened, and she said it in a way that sounded rehearsed, like she had practiced it. She did help put him on the stretcher, but the couple standing right there said something about how the whole thing felt off. Then came the 911 recordings, which were released later and made things even more confusing. The story changed multiple times in those very first calls to emergency services. One version described it as a car hitting a person walking. Another said he fell out of a moving vehicle. And Lulu's account passed through the dispatcher was that Tyrone had gotten out of the car and started walking about 5 minutes before the call was made. The Gainesville Police Department looked at everything and decided that Tyrone had jumped out of the car during the argument, hit his head, and that despite how tragic it was, this was not a suspicious death. But Tyrone's family has had a big problem with that conclusion from day one. They say that hospital staff told them privately that his injuries did not match what you would expect from someone jumping out of a moving car, and that the damage to the back of his head looked more like something deliberately happened to him. Brandy, the nurse who found him, also noticed that there were no visible bruises on his legs that you would expect to see if he had been hit by a car or thrown onto a road at speed. She also pointed out something about the direction they were heading. If they just left the pizza place and were going back toward the hotel, what were they doing near that bridge? Tyrone passed away a few days after they found him. He spent 24 hours in that hospital as a John Doe before his family was even told he was there. His girlfriend had his phone in her hands the whole time. She could see the calls and text messages coming in from his mother, his cousins, his friends, everybody who loved him. She had every number she needed, and she made a choice about who to call and when to call them, and that choice is everything when it comes to what we're going to tell you next. Tyrone's family, specifically his aunt Natasha and his cousin Natalie from his father's side of the family, were not told anything right away. Tyrone was lying in a hospital bed fighting for his life, still listed as an unknown person, while Lulu had his phone in her hand and could reach every single person who loved him at any moment. Out of everyone in Tyrone's life she could have called, she chose one person from his circle. His name is Jason, known online as Chevy Boy J. Now, who is Jason? According to Tyrone's best friend speaking on the Gigi Medici stream, Jason was actually someone who had been on the opposite side from Tyrone at one point, a former rival who Tyrone had forgiven and brought into his life as a friend.
Jay is all of our friends, but he's more so one of Dro's friends. He's a friend of mine through Dro. I met him through Dro, through Tyrone.
So Jason was inside the circle, no question about that. But what happened after Tyrone was found is where things get complicated and where people started asking serious questions about him. Looney, Tyrone's closest friend, said on that live that he had no idea Jason had gone up to Gainesville until it came out during another content creator's stream. He had heard Tyrone was in the hospital and was told only family members were allowed to visit. And then he found out that Jason, who is not family, had made that trip to see Tyrone, while Looney and other people who had known Dro for years were left sitting at home not knowing anything.
When I found out Jay was able to go, I was pissed off about that too. Like, damn, this nigga got to go up there and see my dog for the last time, and I didn't.
That is real pain right there. But it's also a very important detail. If only family was supposed to be allowed in, who gave Jason permission to walk through those doors? And more importantly, why was he even the one she called in the first place? Then there's the situation with the truck. Lulu, or someone working with information she provided, reached out specifically to Jason to go and pick up Tyrone's truck. Jason went and got the truck, was supposed to bring it back, and did not return it until eventually he handed it over to Tyrone's mother, Rena.
They're like, no, Jay gave it to her. Well, how did Jay get his truck? Oh, Jay was supposed to watch the truck and return it, but Jay didn't return it.
Now, online speculation, particularly from content creators like Polo, has gone further and suggested that Jason and Lulu had actually been involved with each other romantically while Tyrone was away on the road driving trucks. The claims point to things like a birthday message Lulu had sent Jason that was later deleted, photos and videos of them together without Tyrone, and the kind of online activity that raised eyebrows.
I passed out when I seen my dog in that casket. Nigga, I don't got no understanding. Zero.
These are allegations and they have not been proven, but the family says these are questions that deserve real answers. What is much harder to ignore is the claim, posted publicly by Tyrone's Aunt Natasha on Instagram, that $250,000 was taken from Tyrone's bank account while he was lying brain dead in that hospital. And then there's the situation with Tyrone's mother, Rena, which has confused and hurt his father's side of the family deeply. At Tyrone's wake, she reportedly pulled Looney aside and told him directly to stop posting about Lulu on the internet, or they were going to have a problem between them. The very next day at the funeral, she was saying justice for Drew. Looney said on that live that he genuinely did not know what side she was standing on or what she actually believed.
You can quote me on this. If I felt like that girl did something to my son, I would be the first one to say it. So you need to stop putting all that shit on the internet before we fall out. That was her words to me at Tyrone's wake.
Rena reportedly brought Lulu into the funeral home against the wishes of Tyrone's father's side of the family, and Tyrone's father was left out of the obituary entirely. His father, Tyrone Sr., has stayed consistent through everything, quiet in his pain, but clear that he wants to know what happened to his son. The division between the two sides of the family has made it much harder to put up a united front against a police department that closed this case without filing a single charge. Because the Gainesville Police Department has been very quiet. As of February 2026, no charges have been filed, no autopsy report has been made public, and the department is still calling the death non-suspicious. The investigation is technically still open, but the family has not been getting answers, and the streets have noticed. Looney had something specific to say about that.
What I need y'all to do is get Gainesville police on the line and find out why they're not treating this like a homicide case. Why are they acting like this was an accidental death? Because with the lies that's been told, the stories that's been given, and anybody who's taking the time to listen to the police call should know that they have enough to do a proper investigation.
On January 17th, 2026, dozens of people showed up to Southwest Archer Road in Gainesville, the exact bridge where Tyrone was found, and they stood there wearing shirts with his face on them and holding up signs, demanding that someone with a badge start treating this death the way Tyrone's family believes it should be treated, not as a tragic accident that nobody's responsible for, but as a crime.
We're not getting answers. We got lies and more lies, 3 different stories. So we're here today because we want to take a stand. We want to fight for what happened to him. We didn't accuse, we asked for answers, but because of the lies, we feel like it was a murder.
A petition was started on change.org on January 9th, 2026, titled Uncover the Truth Behind Tyrone Davis, aka Dro, aka T2's tragic death, and it gathered over 3,100 signatures in a very short time. A second petition, filed on February 8th, called specifically for a complete forensic investigation into how Tyrone ended up on that road. And in early February, Tyrone's mother went and stood in front of the Gainesville City Commission to speak directly to the city's elected officials about what happened to her son.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rena Demps, and I'm here on behalf of my son, Tyrone Davis. He was here December 27th, and I'm just trying to find out what happened to my son. He passed away here. He came here for vacation, and he passed away here on Archer Road under the bridge.
His aunt Natasha, speaking at the January protest on Archer Road, said something that cut right to the heart of why this community is not letting this go. We're not getting answers. We got lies and more lies, 3 different stories. So we're here today because we want to take a stand. We want to fight for what happened to him. We didn't accuse, we asked for answers, but because of the lies, we feel like it was a murder. Let us just line them up so you can see it clearly. The first story that reached Tyrone's family, it was that he slipped and fell at a gas station. The second version said he had gotten out of the car during an argument and walked away from Lulu. The third version, the one the police went with, is that he jumped out of a moving vehicle while they were arguing. And not one of those 3 stories properly explains how a man ends up with that kind of severe damage to the back of his head in a way that his own family and the medical people around him found believable. Looney broke down why the jumping story makes no sense, and he kept it simple.
He was found in the middle of the road, which is crazy because I'm gonna jump out of a car moving 25 miles an hour in the middle of the highway. That would sound like suicide to me. Like, why would my friend do that? This man just sent his homeboy to go get his car washed.
That last detail matters more than it sounds. In the days leading up to that Christmas trip, Tyrone had sent someone to get his car cleaned up. He had plans and had things he was coming back to. He had kids who were waiting for him at home on Christmas morning. Kids who woke up to 4-wheelers and designer clothes, and a father who always showed up.
On Christmas, his kids is waking up, 4-wheelers, bicycles, designer outfits to put on because we finna take pictures. We gotta go to all the family members' houses today.
But the official version of events is asking you to accept that this man, on Christmas Day, with his children at home and his whole life moving in the right direction, made the decision to throw himself from a moving car in a city 4 hours away from his family. Tyrone does not believe that. Tyrone's father does not believe that. Thousands of people who signed those petitions and drove to that bridge in January do not believe that either. And as of February 2026, the family has brought in a private investigator because they can't get answers from the people who are supposed to provide them. Lulu has not spoken publicly in any real way to address the questions being asked about her. Jason has said he had nothing to do with anything and has publicly supported calls for justice, but the questions about why he was the one she called and why he was the one who ended up with the truck have never gotten a clean answer. And one question above all the others keeps coming back every single time this case gets brought up.
What I want to know is, how did anybody know that he had the truck? That means if Lulu didn't call Miss Renee and tell her, and the hospital called her, or if she didn't call him directly and tell him they wanted the truck, how did they even know to come get the truck from you? Of all the people they could have called to go to Gainesville, why did they pick you?
Why Jason? With all the people in Tyrone's life, the cousins, the childhood friends, the people who had been riding with him for 20 years, she called Jason. He was the one who got into that hospital. He was the one who walked away with the truck. He was standing closest to everything in those first 24 hours, while everyone else who loved Tyrone was sitting at home with no information. That answer has not come yet. What do you think about this case? Do you think Lulu knows more than she's letting on? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.